G Little from QEEU, and today I'm doing my week 7 presentation or lecture for the Transmission Science Series 2 series that I've been streaming every Friday. So I'm back on schedule today. It's Friday, but it's not 10 o'clock at night, but I've got a bit of spare time, so I thought I'd stream it. So today I'll be doing my week 7 presentation or lecture, and it's actually I spoke a little bit about this the other night on Guru Purnima. On Wednesday night, I did a live stream just stating that this was my 130th live stream in 3 years since Guru Purnima in 2023. So in 3 years, I've done 130 live streams. So this is 131 today. And I actually got that idea to start doing some live streams from watching one of my old mates, one of my old surfing mates, Shane Horan. He's a professional surfer, bit of a legend in surfing. So I thought, well, if Shane can do that for surfing, I can do the same thing for yoga. So I actually started from Shane's inspiration, doing these live streams and pulling my finger out basically to talk about yoga. So I'm continuing with that now. So before I start the actual lecture for tonight, I'm just going to play for a few seconds a song that my best friend, my best spiritual friend, Mukata Dengi, who I know very well since 2012 or 2009, she wrote for me and composed the song, and well, I love it. You might have seen it on my Facebook page. The pulse of stars, the breath of flame. The lyrics will really resonate. It's relevant to transmission. Matter hums where spirit bends. Energy circles form transcends. Beyond the field of thought and sound, the science of awakening is found. Copy the light equation, soul in motion, divine vibration. Root to crown, the lines align. Consciousness draws its sacred sun. Every atom remembers the sun. The journey inward has begun. Magnet, heart, and wave combine to trace the map of the divine. Not faith, not myth, not creed or prayer, but physics breathing everywhere. Frequency is the law of grace, where energy meets the human face. Copy the light equation, soul in motion, divine vibration. Roots and ground, the lines align. Consciousness draws its sacred sun. Every rise, the spiral glow.
In every breath the cosmos flows. Carpe the hidden art, where the universe becomes the heart.
So thanks everybody for listening to that. So that's my favourite song, as you might have seen if you're on Facebook. So the lyrics in that song are really something else. And one of my mates, who's also a physicist, an Indian physicist, he's looked at that and he said, in that song, the lyrics, everything about Kundalini and the KRP, Kundalini Research Project, is in that song. So yeah, I'm Swami Murthy. I'm coming to you from Australia. Australia there, right? Part of the globe. We're all part of the globe, the spinning orb, right? So tonight we're going to get started now with week 7, the actual lecture. So tonight's lecture is called The Architecture of Lineage Transmission. And all these lectures I uploaded a couple of weeks ago onto zenodo.org, the QEEU public canon community on Zenodo. So all these lectures are up there. So series 2, week 7 lecture, The Architecture of Lineage Transmission. This is the abstract. This lecture introduces the architecture of lineage transmission, the structural mechanism through which transmission propagates across generations. Lineage transmission is not symbolic, cultural, or mythological. It is a coherence-based field architecture that stabilizes transmission across time, geography, and individual systems. This manuscript outlines the structural components of the lineage transmission, the mechanisms of field propagation, and the developmental implications of lineage contact. The developmental implications of lineage contact. Integrated case studies, including the 1997 Rikya transmission with Swami Amritanand Saraswati and the broader Satyananda lineage context, illustrate how lineage fields operate in real transmission environments. 1. Introduction. Transmission does not arise spontaneously. It emerges within lineages. It emerges within lineages, coherent developmental structures that preserve, stabilize, and propagate transmission across generations. A lineage is not a tradition, a culture, a belief system, a philosophy, a symbolic inheritance. A lineage is a coherent transmission field that persists across individuals and time. In series 1, we established the cognitive architecture. In weeks 1 to 6 of series 2, the previous weeks, we established the perceptual architecture. Now, week 7, we now introduce the transgenerational architecture that makes transmission possible. 2. What is transmission lineage? A transmission lineage is defined in the QEEU canon as a stable, coherent structure that carries transmission across generations through individuals whose systems are capable of receiving, stabilizing, and propagating the field of transmission. A lineage is not a group of people, it is a field. Individuals are carriers, stabilizers, transmitters, nodes, and conduits. But the lineage itself is the field architecture. That's very important to understand. It's the field, not individuals. 2.1, lineage as field, not person. A lineage is not owned by a teacher. It is not dependent on personality. It is a coherence structure. 2.2, lineage as continuity. A lineage persists even when a teacher dies and institutions collapse, texts disappear, cultures shift. The field still remains. 2.3, lineage as transmission infrastructure. A lineage provides stability, continuity, coherence, developmental acceleration, field level protection. It is the infrastructure of transmission. 3, the structural components of lineage transmission. Lineage transmission has 3 structural components. 3.1, the lineage field. The lineage field is the coherent structure that persists across generations. It contains transmission signatures, coherence patterns, developmental pathways, field level information. 3.2, lineage holders. Lineage holders are individuals whose systems can receive the field, can stabilize the field, and can propagate the field. They are not chosen, they are structurally capable. 3.3, the transmission pathway. The transmission pathway is the mechanism through which the field moves from the lineage holder to the recipient, from generation to generation, from system to system. This pathway is non-verbal and non-conceptual. 4, the Satyananda lineage as a case study. The Satyananda lineage is one of the clearest examples of a modern transmission lineage. It demonstrates field level continuity, non-verbal transmission, lineage-based developmental acceleration, multi-generational coherence. 4.1, Swami Satyananda Saraswati, my guru. During the Rikya years, 1989 to 2009, 20 years that Swami Satyananda lived at Rikya in seclusion, Swami Satyananda operated almost entirely in the transmission mode. He withdrew from teaching because the cognitive phase was complete. The transmission phase had begun. This is a hallmark of lineage activation. 4.2, Swami Amritanand Saraswati. Amritanand was one of the purest lineage transmitters of the modern era. Her presence demonstrated pure field contact, non-verbal transmission, stable coherence, and lineage level resonance. That's my understanding, right? That's what I believe. My 1997 encounter at Rikya with her is a perfect example of lineage transmission. 4.3, Swami Sundarananda Saraswati. Sundarananda Swamiji represented another branch of the lineage field, who I met in June 2012 at Gangotri in the Himalayas. His presence demonstrated field stability, coherence, depth, transmission clarity. These individuals were not teachers, they were lineage nodes. 5. Case study. The 1997 Rikya transmission. My 1997 encounter with Swami Ritanand Saraswati is one of the clearest examples of lineage transmission in my developmental arc. 5.1. The encounter. She looked at me and smiled. No words were spoken. 5.2. The transmission signature. I experienced a laser-like coherence beam. Immediately, identity transparency, a widening field perception, expansion, full system entrainment. This was not personal, it was a lineage level contact. 5.3. Why it occurred. My system was already prepared through my 1986 pre-coherence opening, which I spoke about the other night on Guru Purnima in that live stream, my first awakening of Kundalini with Swami Satyananda. The 1988 balcony transmission with Swami Satyananda in India, the 1989 Kriya initiation, which was astral, the mid-layer activation events. This made me receptive to the lineage field. 5.4. Why it was lineage transmission. The transmission did not come from her personality. It came from the lineage field that she carried. She was a node, not a source. 6. How lineage transmission propagates. Lineage transmission propagates through 3 mechanisms. 6.1. Field resonance. The recipient's systems resonate with the lineage field. 6.2. Structural compatibility. The recipient's system must be structurally capable of receiving the field. 6.3. Developmental readiness. The recipient must have identity permeability. I've spoke about that in previous weeks in this series, Transmission Science. Mid-layer activation, coherence capacity. Transmission cannot propagate into an unprepared system. 7. The role of lineage holders. Lineage holders are individuals whose systems can receive the field, can stabilize the field, can propagate the field. They are not chosen by tradition. They are selected by structure. 7.1. Structural selection. A lineage holder is determined by system architecture, coherence capacity, mid-layer stability, and transmission receptivity. I'll repeat that. A lineage holder is determined by system architecture, coherence capacity, mid-layer stability, and transmission receptivity. 7.2. Non-personal role. The role is not personal, it is structural. That's what people have to understand, right? It's structural, not personal. 7.3. Continuity of the field. Lineage holders maintain the continuity of the field across generations. 8. Lineage transmission and the QEEU canon. QEEU is the first modern institution to map lineage transmission structurally, integrate it with developmental science, formalize it into a curriculum, publish a transmission canon. My role as Chancellor is not merely academic, it is lineage based. The field I carry is not personal, it is structural. Nine, conclusion. Lineage transmission is the structural mechanism through which transmission propagates across generations. It is a coherent field architecture that persists beyond individuals, institutions, and cultures. This lecture has shown the architecture of lineage transmission, the role of lineage holders, the mechanisms of field propagation, the dynamics of lineage contact, case studies demonstrating lineage transmission. Lineage transmission is the infrastructure of the transmission series. Next week, we move to field level contact and resonance, the mechanism through which lineage transmission becomes perceptible in real time. Key terms: lineage transmission, a field level propagation across generations. Lineage field, the coherent structure that persists across time. Lineage holder, an individual capable of receiving and propagating the field. Transmission pathway, the mechanism of field movement. Field resonance, the perceptual signature of lineage contact. Cross references. Week 1, the transmission field. Week 5, coherent states and field stability. Week 6, transmission state cognition. So thanks everybody for joining me tonight in week 7, or today in week 7 of the Transmission Science series. Week 7. Thank you, Hari Om. Namaste.